The desert stretched endlessly beneath the burning sun, a vast expanse of golden dunes and pale skies. It was a place of extremes, where life clung to the most fragile resources, where survival depended on knowledge passed down through generations. Among the nomadic tribe of the Idira, there was one who stood out, not for her beauty, though she was beautiful, but for a gift as rare as an oasis in the endless Sahara. Her name was Leila, and she could find water where others could not. From the time she was a child, Leila had known where to look. While others would wander the dunes in vain, hoping to stumble upon a hidden well or a patch of moisture beneath the sand, Leila would kneel, press her hands to the earth, and close her eyes. She could feel the pulse of the water beneath the surface, the subtle shift in the air that signaled life in the desert's heart. Her tribe revered her for this gift. It had saved them countless times, especially in recent years as the desert expanded, swallowing the land, forcing them to wander farther and farther from their ancestral roots. Her father, the chief, trusted her completely. In a land where power was measured by the ability to provide, Leila was a symbol of hope. But hope, as fragile as it was in the desert, could be easily crushed. Leila had grown up beside Aydin, a herder's son. Their bond had been forged in childhood, running barefoot through the sand dunes, chasing after the flocks, laughing under the wide, star-streaked sky. They had dreamed together of finding hidden valleys, of lands rich with water and grass. As they grew older, their bond deepened into love. Aydin, with his quiet strength and fierce loyalty, had captured her heart long ago. But in the harsh reality of the desert, love was not always enough. One day, as the tribe settled near an oasis for rest, a caravan appeared on the horizon, shimmering in the heat. It was rare to see outsiders in this part of the desert. The tribe gathered in cautious curiosity as the caravan approached. The camels, loaded with goods from distant cities, slowed to a halt, and from the largest of the caravans descended a man who radiated wealth and power. His name was Konam, a merchant from the far-off city of Ayajara, and he had come with riches that dazzled the eyes, silks, gold, spices from lands they had only heard of in stories. He presented these gifts to Leila's father, the chief, and asked for nothing in return. Nothing, at least that the tribe could understand at first. In the days that followed, Konam stayed with the Idira, speaking often with the chief, learning of the tribe's struggles, their need for water, their search for better pastures. He was charming and smooth-tongued, his eyes lingering on Leila whenever they crossed paths. Aydin noticed the merchant's gaze and felt a knot tighten in his chest. He had heard tales of men like Konam, men who, with their gold, believed they could buy anything. When Konam finally revealed his true intention, it struck the tribe like a sudden storm. "I wish to marry your daughter," Konam declared to the chief, his tone both confident and respectful. "In return, I will bring wealth and security to your tribe. No longer will you need to wander in search of water. I will provide for your people. I have connections in every city along the desert's edge. Your people will thrive." Leila, listening from the shadows, felt her heart seize. The very idea of it horrified her. She knew nothing of this man, and her heart already belonged to Aydin. She fled to the dunes, her mind racing, the sand shifting beneath her feet. The chief was a proud man, but he was also pragmatic. His daughter's gift had sustained the tribe, but as the years passed, the tribe's survival seemed to depend more and more on luck. Droughts were becoming more frequent, and the distance between oases grew wider with every season. The Idira had once been powerful nomads, but now they struggled to feed their flocks. Konam's offer was more than tempting. It was salvation. That evening, the chief summoned Leila. His face was grim, a man torn between love for his daughter and duty to his people. "Leila, my daughter," he began, his voice soft but firm. "This man, Konam, offers us much. Our people suffer, and this alliance could save us. I would not force you into anything, but as your father and the chief, I ask you to consider." Leila's heart ached. She could see the weight of leadership pressing on her father's shoulders. Still, she couldn't imagine a life with a man like Konam. Her soul belonged to the desert, to the simplicity of life among her people, and to Aydin, who had been with her through everything. "Father," she whispered, "I cannot marry him. My heart is not his. I love Aydin." The chief's expression softened, but only for a moment. He knew of her love for Aiden, but the harsh reality of their situation overshadowed all else. His daughter's happiness was precious, but the survival of the tribe was paramount. "There is time," he said finally. "But not much. We will discuss this again soon." Days passed, and the tribe continued their journey deeper into the desert. Konam remained with them, his presence a constant reminder of the impending decision. Arden, feeling the tension grow, confronted Leela beneath the stars one night. "Do you love me?" he asked, his voice raw. "You know I do," she replied, tears glistening in her eyes. "But I don't know what to do. My father, the tribe, they need help." Arden's hands clenched into fists. "We can survive. We always have. You don't need to sell yourself to that man. We'll find a way, Leela." But even as he said it, doubt crept into his voice. The desert was changing, and he knew deep down that the future was uncertain. It wasn't long before Konam approached Leela directly. He found her alone by the small pool of water she had located earlier that day, her fingers tracing patterns in the sand. "Leela," he said, his voice smooth as the wind over the dunes. "I see your hesitation, and I understand. But I offer you a future. You deserve more than this life, wandering the desert, always on the edge of survival. With me you can live in comfort, in a home that is yours, with people who will serve you. Your father—" Leela stood, her face hard. "I am not a prize to be won, Konam." Konam smiled, a serpent's smile. "No, but you are a treasure, and treasures deserve to be treated with care. I will wait for your answer." Unbeknownst to Leela, events were already in motion that would shatter her world. Adin, in his desperation to prove his worth to both Leela and the tribe, had decided to seek out a rumored hidden valley, a place spoken of only in whispers. A paradise where water flowed freely and green fields stretched as far as the eye could see. Adin was determined to find it, to return with proof that the tribe did not need Konam's wealth. But he did not know that Konam, having suspected Aiden's plan, had already set a trap. In the dead of night, as Aiden prepared to leave, he was approached by one of Konam's guards. The man, seemingly friendly, offered to guide him part of the way. But as they traveled deeper into the desert, Aiden began to realize that something was wrong. The landmarks he had been following were nowhere to be found, and soon they were hopelessly lost. Konam's guard revealed his true intentions, leaving Aiden to perish in the unforgiving wilderness. Back at the camp, Konam moved forward with his plans, convincing the chief that Aiden had fled, abandoning the tribe out of cowardice. Leela, heartbroken and confused, found herself cornered. Without Aiden, without hope, her resolve began to crumble. She was left with a choice: accept Konam's proposal to save her people, or risk losing everything she held dear. The desert was vast, and even the strongest of hearts could break beneath its weight. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of crimson and violet, Leela stood at the edge of the camp, gazing out at the endless sea of dunes. Her heart felt heavy, burdened by the weight of decisions she was not yet ready to make. The desert winds howled in the distance, carrying whispers of uncertainty and fear. The news of Adin's disappearance had spread like wildfire, and though Leela could hardly believe he had abandoned her, doubt gnawed at her mind. The tribe was in turmoil. Some believed Konam's story that Adin had fled, fearing the responsibilities of leadership and the burden of Leela's love. Others whispered that Konam had something to do with Aiden's disappearance, but no one dared voice it openly. Konam's influence was already too great. As days turned into weeks, Leela grew more isolated. Her father, pressured by the needs of the tribe and the promises Konam made, urged her to accept the merchant's proposal. Konam's gifts continued to pour into the tribe: water, supplies, and even camels, creating an illusion of prosperity. The people, desperate for stability, began to look favorably upon the merchant. One evening, when the stars hung low and the fire's embers glowed softly, Leela approached her father. "I cannot marry Konam," she said, her voice soft but resolute. "Something about this feels wrong. Adin would never leave us." The chief, worn from the burdens of leadership, sighed. I do not know what to believe anymore, my daughter, but the tribe needs security. Conham offers that, and Aiden is gone. Tears welled in Layla's eyes, but she held them back. I will find him, father. I will search for Aiden and learn the truth. Please give me time. The chief hesitated, torn between his daughter's resolve and the needs of his people. You have one moon cycle, Leela. If you cannot find Aiden, you must consider what is best for the tribe. Layla nodded, determined. She knew her time was limited. At dawn, Leela packed her belongings and set out into the desert. She was not alone in her journey. An old woman from the tribe, one who had been a mentor to Leela since childhood, insisted on accompanying her. Her name was Zara, and though her body was frail, her mind was sharp as ever. Zara had long been a keeper of the tribe's ancient stories, and she knew the desert better than anyone. She had also been the first to voice her suspicions about Conham's arrival. They set off toward the direction where Aiden was last seen, following the faintest clues. Tracks in the sand, whispers from passing traders. The journey was perilous. The desert, unforgiving and vast, tested their endurance with blistering heat during the day and bone-chilling cold at night. But Leela, driven by love and the need for truth, pressed forward. One night, as they rested by the remains of an ancient well, Zara spoke. There is a legend, she said, her voice low, of a hidden valley deep in the heart of the desert, where water flows endlessly and the earth is lush. Some say it is a myth, but others claim it is real. It is said that only those with pure hearts and noble intentions can find it. Layla stared at her, heart racing. Do you think Aiden was searching for this valley? Zara nodded slowly. He may have believed that finding it could save the tribe. If Conham's wealth tempted the chief, perhaps Aiden hoped to offer something greater, a future of abundance. The thought of Aiden embarking on such a dangerous journey for the tribe, and for her, made Layla's heart ache. She realized how much he had been willing to sacrifice. Days turned into weeks, but Layla's determination did not waver. Finally, after following a trail of faint clues, they reached a series of jagged cliffs that rose from the desert like the ribs of an ancient giant. Beyond them, nestled deep in the crevices of the rock, was a hidden valley, just as Zara had spoken of. The air was cooler here, and the scent of moisture hung in the breeze. Layla and Zara made their way into the valley, their eyes widening as they took in the sight before them. It was as if they had entered another world. Lush green fields stretched out before them, and a clear stream wound through the valley, its waters sparkling in the sunlight. But something was wrong. The valley, while beautiful, was eerily silent. No birds sang, and no animals grazed by the water's edge. In the distance, Layla spotted a lone figure lying on the ground near the stream. Her heart raced as she rushed forward, Zara following closely behind. As she drew nearer, her breath caught in her throat. It was Aiden. He lay motionless, his face pale, and his lips cracked from the desert's harshness. Layla dropped to her knees beside him, tears streaming down her face. Aiden, she whispered, her voice breaking. His eyes fluttered open, weak but filled with recognition. Leela, he croaked, his voice barely audible. Don't speak, she said, her hands trembling as she reached for the water from the stream. She lifted his head gently and brought the water to his lips. Aiden drank slowly, life returning to his body with each sip. Zara, standing nearby, watched with a mix of relief and concern. We must leave this place soon, she warned. Something feels off here. Aiden, still weak but gaining strength, nodded. I was deceived, he whispered, his voice hoarse. Conham's men led me astray. I thought I could find this valley and save the tribe, but there is something dark here. Layla glanced around, her heart pounding. The valley, though beautiful, felt wrong. It was too still, too perfect, as if it were a trap designed to lure the unsuspecting. We need to go, Leela said, helping Aiden to his feet. We'll leave now and return to the tribe. Conham must be exposed. Their journey back to the tribe was arduous, but Lela's hope had been rekindled. With Aiden by her side, they would reveal Conham's treachery and free the tribe from his manipulations. When they finally reached the camp, they were met with shock and disbelief. Many had assumed Adin was dead, lost to the desert. But as the story of Konam's deception spread, the people's anger grew. Zara, with her wisdom and authority, supported Leela and Adin's claims, adding weight to their words. Konam, sensing his grip on the tribe slipping, tried to flee under the cover of night, but the tribe's warriors captured him before he could escape. The truth of his betrayal was laid bare, and the chief, filled with regret, ordered his exile into the very desert he had sought to manipulate. With Konam gone, the tribe turned its attention to rebuilding. Leela and Adin, now united in purpose, led the search for new water sources, relying on Leela's gift and Adin's knowledge of the land. Together they guided the tribe to a more secure future, one built on trust, love, and the wisdom of their ancestors. The desert remained vast and unforgiving, but within the hearts of the Idira, hope had blossomed once more, like a delicate flower emerging from the sands. And as for Leela and Adin, their love, tested by betrayal and hardship, endured, stronger than ever. The desert, once a place of uncertainty, became a home they could now embrace, knowing they had faced its challenges together. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed the story, please subscribe to the channel to help us grow. This encourages us to keep creating more amazing stories for you to enjoy. Also, feel free to explore other stories on this channel.